Hi everybody, welcome back to another day of learning geometry in 4th grade math. It's Friday. How awesome is that? Um, Welcome, and you made it through another week of distance learning. I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are doing so well. Let's go ahead and get started with some mental math, just so we can get energized for our last day of the week here. All right? Ready? Ready for some mental math? Is the mind warmed up yet? If not, we're going to warm it up right now. All right, here we go. Let's see, which one do I want to do today? Okay. All right, here we go. So, for today's mental math, we're going to start with the number 9. It's a good number to start with. Good. I want you to take that number and divide by 3. We're there. Good. Now I want you to multiply that number by 9. Oof, we're going to multiply by 9, yeah. Okay. Last step. I want you to subtract the number of inches in 2 feet. So what is the number of inches in 2 feet? I want you to subtract that much. Okay? So what do we have as our answer? If you're not ready, hit that pause button. If you are, we're going to keep moving on. Here we go. The answer for today's mental math is 3. Nice job. All right, so now that we're all warmed up after our mental math, let's go ahead and get our supplies ready for today's lesson. For today's lesson, we're going to learn about parallel and perpendicular lines, okay? And if you haven't done so already, I want you to go to your handbooks and record the vocabulary for types of lines. We had 3 types of lines that were in your vocabulary. The first one was parallel. So do this with me, parallel lines. There we go, equal distance all through, yep. And then intersecting, which had one common point. And the last one were perpendicular lines. And these are the ones that intersected and made a 90-degree angle, okay? So again, we had parallel, intersecting, perpendicular. Cool? If you haven't written those 3 types of lines in your handbook, go ahead and do that now. And then join me back so we can get started with our lesson. All right, so if you have already written down the vocabulary into your handbook, let's go ahead and grab our student books. We're going to need your student books today. All right, and I want you to turn to page 179. It's going to look a little something like this. It's going to have a whole bunch of geotables on there with some dots. And we're going to play a little game to practice our knowledge of perpendicular and parallel lines. Also to help us out with today's lesson are going to be Edison and Tesla. They're going to join us for today's lesson. So go ahead and open up your books and let's get ready to start. All right, so for today's activity, I am going to model it first using Edison and Tesla as the 2 people who are playing. I'm going to model how we would play this game with one other person. To prepare for the game, it'd be good if you had, the page calls for a blue team and a red team. So I have a red and a blue marker. If you have a red and blue pen, you can also use. And then the other thing that you're going to need for this activity today is you're going to need 4 little pieces of scrap paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be a note card if you have an extra note card. It could be little scraps of paper that you want to crumple up and put on a hat, for example. I just cut up a piece of line paper. And on those pieces of line paper, you're going to write on 2 of them, since you have 4. On 2 of them, you're going to write parallel lines. So 2 cards that say parallel lines and 2 cards that say perpendicular lines. Okay? So go ahead and prepare those cards for you. So the cards, I've also included little drawings of what each type of line is. So for the perpendicular line, I made intersecting lines that create 90-degree angles. And then for the parallel lines, I just drew 2 lines. They're really badly made, I'm so sorry. But these are lines that have a constant distance between them all the way, okay? All right, so on our game. All right, so as you can see, I have Edison down for blue team, and I have Tesla down for red team. I have my board ready, and I'm gonna start here on game 1, and I have my 4 cards here off to the side, which I will draw. And so like I said, you can put these in like a box, or a hat, or a cup or something where you can't see what kind of lines are in here, and you will be drawing one at a time, okay? So for example, this first one, Edison drew perpendicular lines. And so what's gonna happen is that blue team, since he is on blue, Edison will take his blue marker, and on this first game board here, game 1, he has to create perpendicular lines on the board. So perpendicular lines are lines that create a 90-degree angle. So Edison, for example, can draw a line here, and then draw a line that goes across like that, creating perpendicular lines, okay? And then it is Tesla's turn. So Tesla will draw a card from wherever you have them. Maybe they're Post-its, maybe little pieces of paper. You pull them, and then he has parallel lines. So Tesla is gonna use his red marker and create parallel lines. And so he is going to connect the dots here to create parallel lines, okay? What's gonna happen is that soon enough, we're going to start as each person takes turns. In this case, each hamster takes turns. What's gonna happen is that you're going to start creating squares on this board. And if on your turn, you created a square, you can put your initial in the square, and that is 1 point for you, okay? So again, the point is to create as many squares on this board and putting your initials in it so that you can get a point for each square that you have created. Let's keep going so you can see what I mean, okay? So let's see, Edison is up next again, and Edison has pulled perpendicular lines. So he's gonna take his blue marker, and he's gonna create more perpendicular lines. This time, he's gonna create a line that goes this way, and one line that goes this way. So now we see that Edison, by putting in those 2 lines, has created 1 square, 2 squares, 3 squares. Remember, a square is a 4-sided shape, okay? So far, Edison has 3 points, all right? And so on Tesla's turn, he is going to pull another card, and Tesla is going to get parallel lines. So Tesla, using his red marker, will create parallel lines, and he will put his lines here and here. And now Tesla has created lots of squares. So he will create 1 here, there, boom, here we go. All right, Tesla is back, all right? Next one is going to be Edison's turn, and Edison is going to pull, oh my gosh, perpendicular lines. So Edison is going to take his blue marker and create perpendicular lines. So again, these are lines that intersect and create 90-degree angles. And so here in this corner is where he has created his 90-degree angle and intersecting here. So now Edison has created all of these squares, which are again are 4-sided shapes that are connected, okay? And so now at the bottom, we're gonna total up how many boxes each initial has. I'm sorry. So for Edison, we count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So Edison gets a score of 10. And Tesla has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for this round, Edison is our winner. Yay, Edison! So here's Edison taking his victory lap. There he is. Soaking up his win because he won the first game of Boxing Noise. Okay? Hi, Edison. Are you happy that you won? Yeah? Nice job, buddy. He's just sniffing around. So, for the rest of the class, Edison and I would like you to go back to that game. There are 4 other, I'm going to put him back in his cage here. There are 3 other squares where you can play this game. So please find maybe a friend on Zoom, maybe a sibling or parent or someone in the house that you can play this with. And make sure that you fill up at least that whole page, so that's 4 games total. Okay? Make sure that you have your cards ready, and make sure that you have 2 different colored markers or pens to make sure that you can tell who built which lines on your grid. Okay? Let's talk about your assignments for today. For today, Edison, Tesla, and I would like for you to work on page 180 in your student books. Okay, so that's only one other page after the game page, page 180. And this one has lines and designs. Okay? And then that's all we have. There is no home connections for today. So that is all you'll be doing in terms of work. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. You guys, I love talking geometry. So if you have any questions, please come and talk to me on Zoom. I'd love to talk to you about geometry and any questions that you have. I want you to have a great weekend filled with lots of indoor, safe, and healthy fun. And if you get outdoors, enjoy that sun. All right, a lot of us have been cooped up inside, myself included. So I might just go out for a hike this weekend. What are you gonna do? All right, have a good weekend. Bye, everybody.